Government analysis has found over 2 million pensioners in England and Wales will miss out on the allowance of up to £300. This reportedly includes 600,000 who are disabled, and this is despite Labour raising the cut-off point to include pensioners with an annual income of up to £35,000. Anyone with a higher income will get the cash, but repay it through the tax system, which does, Jeremy's frowning, it does seem very cumbersome and it seems quite worrying and difficult. The move means that 3/4 of pensioners will now get the allowance at a cost of about £1.25 billion. But of course, this used to be a universal payment. So should more pensioners, maybe all of them, benefit from it? We'll start with you, Isabel.
I do think, it's a sign of a failing society if you can't look after your elderly. And, we talk about how we all think that everybody should have dignity in later life. And I 100% subscribe to that. The thought of my beloved grandparents shivering and unable to stay warm in their house fills me with horror. That being said, we have got an ageing population, and I think you have to ask, when you've got a socialist government, which we do, why on earth are they wanting to change the rules? They, of all people, would want to keep them as they are, and that's because, we haven't got enough money anymore to sustain this level of ageing population.
So in that case, you're saying don't pay anybody else?
I think that the means testing is probably, a sensible, workable solution. It seems a bit of a convoluted process that they're going through at the moment, but, they wanted to save, I think, something like £1.9 billion from this original decision on winter fuel payments. I think it's coming in now with these changes at 450 million. So we're going to have to pay somewhere else to make up for the loss.
Lowri, this is a difficult one, isn't it? Yeah. Especially the idea, as Jeremy was flinching, of having to pay it back and through some cumbersome system. You feel it will worry people.
This assumes you own 35 grand. I don't have a pension. I know lots of people who are freelance who don't have pensions. So it seems quite lavish to be a pensioner on 35 grand. Yes, there are people who are disabled, and that's an issue that needs to be looked at. I've changed my mind. On the one hand, I was like, how dare they take the money away from old people? But then when there was the debate in Parliament about rejigging money to be given to younger people, the government rode back on that because the Labour MPs voted against. So you can't. It's difficult. As I said, there is no money, but if you're going to take money away from pensioners, you also have to address what's happening with younger people. And so I think that we do have to means test it. Although I wouldn't have said that 6 months ago, but I think we do because there is no money. But I think we also need to look at what's happening at the other end for young people, the rise in number of people on PIP, the rise in number of people taking all sorts of incapacity benefits. That is just, the whole thing is just mad, isn't it?
Jeremy, if we think of our Christmas carols and we think of Good King Wenceslas and we think of the poor man coming in sight, gathering winter fuel, it's pretty basic, this, isn't it? It's to keep you warm. This is not some kind of sophisticated, high-tech, strange idea. We can't understand it. No one gets it. We all get it. When Isabel says her own grandparents, we get it. When we think of, heating or eating, we get it. And when you think of people, and I take calls on LBC at the weekends, I take calls here on Channel 5 in the week, and boy, are we inundated every time we mention winter fuel payments with people worrying and really worrying about it, even in the summer when they don't need the money yet.
Yeah, well, because it's looming. It's a sort of Damocles, isn't it, hanging over you? Yeah. But the thing is, it's interesting you say about the means testing. I've always thought we should means test because I think there are a lot of pensioners who really need it and those who don't. And we just don't have the money. But the idea of everybody receiving it, then having to pay it back, well, I think that's going to cause a load of admin problems. And there's going to be people who won't necessarily not remember, but realise it's just an extra hassle for people, isn't it? I think just don't give it out in the first place because you've then got to organise reclaiming it all back from people.
One of the point I would make it's 300 quid, which, bearing in mind how much energy has gone up in the last 5 years, is a drop in the bucket, isn't it?
It is.
So it's bizarre that it's only 300. Of course, the number of pensioners means it adds up to a very large bill. But talking about people worrying about paying their bills, I think the people who are really worrying about paying their bills are also people with young families who have to use washing machines, who have to have showers and baths, and the fear, and they get no help. So the fear for them. So the question is, why are we giving it to pensioners but not to other people?
The other thing is, I pay a set amount every month, whether it's December or whether it's July. Now I use a lot less energy, and I think that's probably a better way to budget for people. There are ways you can do that. You can sign a direct debit thing.
Let's go to Richard. He's on the line in the West Midlands. Hello, Richard. Thanks so much for calling. What's your take on this one? Hi. What do you think?
Hi. Well, I think that more people should get it. I'm in a situation where my aunt is 80.
Right.
In January, and she's paralysed in the wheelchair, and when it gets to December or the winter, she gets cold. And then we have to pay a substantial amount, £500 a month. Our gas and electric is in the bungalow. And yet we have to pay my aunt, who gets £900 pension, then has to pay £560 to Solihull Council for carers to put her to bed. How does she afford to pay?
I mean, you know,
our electric and gas.
Well, thank you very much for painting the picture of your aunt and in the wheelchair and the difficulty, and also this terrible problem with social care where the family has to pay for it.
But the question is that why is she having to pay for that? Is that because she has a private pension? Is that because she owns her own home, for example? I don't know.
Well, it might well be because she owns her own home, but there she is living in it, so she's entitled to live in it, isn't she? Richard, what do you feel would be the solution here? Because as Lowri quite rightly says, she's over 80, so it would be £300, and she says it's a drop in the ocean, which it kind of is, isn't it, really?
Well, it is, because that doesn't pay for when it gets into the summer and it's so hot and I have to pay to have the fans on to keep her cool.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's true.
It seems like the elephant in the room to me that nobody's talking about why we have to pay so much for our electricity. And, why are we not having a huge argument with these companies about what they're charging us? Obviously, we know what's happened with Russia, Ukraine, but we have to be talking more about renewable, affordable energy. There's the climate benefits from that as well. But why are we all paying such huge bills?
Also, the idea that we're being given an allowance from the government, all they're doing is giving that. They're basically ensuring that the energy companies don't diminish their profits by, rather than tackling the actual problem, which is that we're being charged way too much and they've got ridiculously high profits that have just gone crazily high since the Ukraine thing. It's been used as an excuse. And the actual thing is, they're not giving us anything. They're just spending our money. They're just taking that money and giving it to the shareholders of the energy companies. So
as if we ought to get Vladimir Putin on in person and give him a dressing down. That's what we need to do. Let's go straight to Judy in Birmingham. Judy, what do you think about this one?
Oh, hello, Vanessa.
Hi.
I wanted to say I don't understand why pensioners need so much money. I am a pensioner.
Right.
And my income is just under 12,000 a year, but just 200 above getting any help.
Oh, goodness.
Well, no, I'm fine with it.
Are you?
I manage completely fine. I do own my own house, a battle, I suppose, and I do run a car on that. I don't really understand why they need all that money.
Tell me, Judy, about sort of making do and mending and how you manage on that money, because there definitely will be people watching thinking, God, how on earth does she run a car and have a great life and on that amount of money? So is it that you're just a brilliant manager or what?
I have no idea. It's only when I hear these programmes that I think, oh, OK, well, we're doing all right here.
But tell me, for example, about, cooking and about driving the car and about fuel bills, because, as Isabel rightly says, they've gone up. They're really through the roof. Most people look at them and think, what? Don't you?
Yes, I do. But I do all my own shopping and cooking. So, I buy according to what I can afford, which is perfectly fine. And I don't drive a long way, so which probably isn't good for the car.
But some people say that there's, well, actually, T.S. Eliot said there's living and partly living. There's just having a good life with quality and variety and friends and able to socialise and do nice things. And then there's a life where you're just existing, you're carrying on, but it's a grind. And every single thing you do, you have to think about, and all the time you have to worry, oh my gosh, what if I need a new pair of shoes? What if the boiler goes, but, bang, and I can't afford to repair it? Those sorts of things. Are you feeling that sort of pressure?
No, not really. I mean, if something goes wrong drastically, like the boiler did go wrong, I just have to save up for it. I know you think I'm mad, but honestly, I have a perfectly nice life and I do what I want to do. I don't go abroad on holidays or anything like that anymore, but then I'm too old to do that. But I don't understand it. I know that people who are, have problems or ill or whatever, they are going to need more money. But I can't say that I cut down on anything.
She needs a podcast.
Yes.
How to Live Comfortably on £12,000 a year by Judy in Birmingham.
Actually, that's exactly what she really needs, is to come into the studio and tell me about it. Yes. Where are you? Where are you, my love? Birmingham?
Birmingham.
Near Bourneville.
Right, how would you fancy coming in one day, joining me on the sofa and giving us some tips? Because you're obviously absolutely making mincemeat of this, probably eating mincemeat as well, making mincemeat of the whole thing and making it seem so easy. Would you come in one day?
Oh, I'd be terrified.
Oh, no, it's not scary. It's quite good fun, isn't it?
Yeah, she'd love it.
It's a right laugh. You get coffee and things.
We
and
need to be more Judy, don't we?
As long as you get a banana here, it's absolutely, we're absolutely living
get
life of
banana,
Riley on
Judy.
Channel 5. If you would come, we will bring you in and we'd love to just pick your brains because no one ever says what you've just said, do they?
No, that's
We'd love
brilliant.
you to come,
Brilliant.
would you?
Yeah, but I haven't got any dependents. I haven't got anything. So, apart from me, I've got me. I mean, I've got family, but obviously they're doing their own thing now.
Even so, though.
The only time you ever see people living pensioners, it's almost shot in black and white. The little old pensioner with a tiny pension, unable to take pennies up. So you're a whole different.
Absolutely.
version.
Stay on the line. Let somebody sort that out. Lovely to talk to you. Jean on Facebook says, no, anyone with £35,000 a year does not need the winter fuel allowance. My husband and I are both pensioners and we have a lot less than that per year. And Dawn on Facebook says, every household has different essential expenditure. So it's always going to be wrong when total household income is used as a benchmark. Do you think that's true?
Well, I do think that it's interesting that we've had two people basically saying that £35,000 seems like a lot of money, and there is obviously a bit of a variety, between household to household. And, as we've all been discussing, we're not flush with cash these days. But, how interesting to hear pensioners coming out and actually defending this and saying they don't need the money.